I'm Terrence James, and you're watching another episode of Neutral Reviews, where we do real reviews for real decisions. And today we are looking at the 2022 Dodge Durango SRT. And yeah, this thing's got a HEMI. And I borrowed the keys for this vehicle from Oxford Dodge in London, Ontario, that has a fantastic location, a beautiful brand new building, welcoming atmosphere, and who also offer some of the most fun vehicles on the road today, including this one. Now, it seems like the Durango has been around as long as the Model T, but it actually came out in the late 90s, and when it did, it was based on the small Dakota mid-size truck frame. But since then, it has matured and is on the same platform as the Grand Cherokee, which is a premium unibody platform. But that is where the maturity ends and the fun begins, because the SRT Durango is a true seven-seater with all the practicality of all the other mid-size SUVs. But those other SUVs, they put a lot of entertainment in there to keep you entertained, a lot of screens and things like that. Dodge did not. You know why? Because they put a 392 HEMI up front, and that is all you will need to be entertained. However, even though you're going to be able to pass everybody on the road, one place you won't be able to pass is the gas station. Not if you want to get home, that is. So let's take a look at the facts, feels, and final thoughts of the 2022 Dodge Durango SRT 392. Let's take a look. And Dodge uses their 6.4 liter, 392 cubic inch pushrod HEMI V8 that is capable of producing 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, which is capable of rocketing this 5,500 pound angry grocery getter from 0 to 60 in around 14.1 seconds. And as you can see on the screen there, it does the quarter mile in an amazing time as well, and a top speed of 155 miles an hour. You're looking at around a 90 liter gas tank on this. And even though it has cylinder deactivation, which is a wonderful technology, brings it from an 8 to a 4 cylinder when you're just cruising around and don't need all that extra power, you're still only looking at around 15 miles per gallon combined if you're lucky. But again, it's a lot of fun, and it is the most powerful engine for towing in a vehicle like this and things like that. Now, all that power keeps running through its beefy 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. Works really, really well in a vehicle like this. Nice, crisp, tough shifts, and it keeps on going through its all-wheel drive system. And on this one, it is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system. So again, a lot more fun, has excellent traction. Now, when we talk about steering, it uses rack and pinion steering, of course, and it's power assisted, and it steers these beautiful, I don't know if it's gunmetal, what they call them, beautiful 20-inch aluminum wheels on here with 295/45 tires on here as well. So very aggressive tires, and you get all season or sport tires from the factory on this. And brakes, because you got to stop. It's got 6-piston Brembo brakes up front and 4-piston in the back. Now, I have 4-piston up front, and always get comments about how big my brakes are. These are absolutely huge. 15-inch vented discs on the front. I'm pretty sure that my first car had 15-inch wheels on it and 13.8 vented disc on the back. Now, when we talk about suspension on here, it uses double wishbone in the front, which is fantastic for handling, especially in a vehicle like this, and multi-link in the rear. And when we talk about platform, as we said, it uses the WK2 platform shared with the Grand Cherokee. It's a premium unibody platform. In this configuration, of course, you've got an engine up front. You're looking at 2 passengers in the front and 5 in the back for a total of 7. You're looking as well at about 119, almost 120-inch wheelbase, which is very decent for a vehicle like this, which is going to give you 17 cubic feet of storage in the back, even when those back seats are up, which again is really decent. Now, this platform as well, believe it or not, it's almost 50-50 weight distribution, front to back, side to side, so it handles really, really well that way. You're looking at 0.89 Gs on the skid pad, which again is really amazing for a 5,500 pound SUV like this, but these big wide tires help in that suspension. And you're looking at about 0.37 drag coefficient, so it's no electric vehicle there. It's a bit of a brick, but we don't care in a vehicle like this. And what else to talk about? When we did say about the braking, it's 163 feet as well when you're looking at 70 miles an hour to 0, which again for a vehicle like this is very, very good. And you're about 71 decibels on the highway, which isn't great, but which is normal vehicle like this. And you got that rumbly V8 back there. And as we said, this vehicle with that HEMI V8, you're going to be able to tow 8,700 pounds with your Dodge Durango SRT, which is the equivalent to one of these active urban lifestyles hanging off the back of your Durango SRT. So this leads me to our first set of performance tests. Okay, and our first test is our exhaust test, and we haven't got to do one of these in a while, and I see two giant, real exhausts. Let's see how they sound. That's what I'm talking about. That's real family fun. Let's do our next test. Okay, now we're back. Let's look at the back here. So, I don't see another one of these vehicles. I gotta do a little dance. I don't know. Not working. All right, we give up. So, nice button down here. It'll pop up on its own here, slow as molasses, unlike the rest of the vehicle, which is super fast. But as you can see, I do have the hockey stick here. We're not going to do our hockey stick test because this vehicle should be able to fit a hockey stick and a hockey bag and all kinds of people. And as you can see, these two back seats are split. You can fit that no problem. They're actually pretty easy to put down. You just grab this handle here and you put them right down. Now, if you need to get them back up, you can see here, you got this handle as well. You can pull them back up with, and which is kind of nice back here, you've got some more hidden storage down here, and it looks like something that you could clean out as well. It's nice plastic concave. Yeah, what else? You have this nice concealer, which also comes out. It's relatively easy. You just slide these things here and you can pull them out if you need more height space. You do have a 12 volt plug-in back here as well, which is nice. I'm all over the map with the cameras because it's freezing out here. So anyway, I apologize for the low quality of production today. Not that there's always a ton of production here at Neutral Reviews, but we're getting better. Anyway, so as you can see, tons and tons of space back here. It is a mid-size SUV. You do have a button over here to shut this, which we're going to hit in a second. And the other thing that I like as well, as we said, it is really, really practical. You've got all kinds of tie downs and little hooks and everything else like that. You got nice sliders here. It really is a practical SUV when it comes to that. So let's go check out the back seats and see how those people will fare back there. Okay, and hopping in the back of the Durango SRT. And actually what we want to do is actually hop in the back because this is 7-seater. So let's see how easy that is to do. Okay, it's actually not too bad. What you do is you got a little handle here and then a little red sporty flip up handle for your third row. And you pop back in here. And again, you know, I'm only 5'7" and 150 pounds, so I fit back in the cheap seats here pretty good. But you know what? These are the nicest third row I've ever seen, in the sense of they're even sporty back here. And I think if you're stuck back here close to this rumbly exhaust, you want to be held in tight. So these are pretty cool. Yeah, there's only 2 seats back here, but for someone my size, totally fine. You got cup holders, you know, a little bit of headspace. Even with my spiky hair, I can fit in here. You do have vents, which is nice. So they've put some thought into that the people that are going to be back here are going to be warm or cold or whatever kind of temperature they want. Yeah, and they do have visibility as well. And because the seats are up a little bit higher, kind of like a cinema, you also don't feel like you are gonna Ralph back here because at least you can see the horizon. So let's sit in the middle captain's chairs here. And as you can see too, these doors open up quite a ways, which is nice, so you can get stuff in and out quite easy. And when you come back here, I gotta flip this up. But again, you've got really cool bucket captain's chairs back here. Very, very sporty, almost like a sports car. And again, you'd want to be held in tight back here. You have a nice center console with lots of room. You got a 12 volt plug in there. Also, you have a USB. You got more cup holders, and they're rubberized, so easy to keep clean, and also will hold stuff as well. You've got door pockets for more cup holders and bottles of water and all that type of stuff. Map pockets back here, as you can see. You do have dual vents back here, which is nice as well to get some more airflow back here. You do have dual USBs, and you have heated seats on both these captain's chairs, which is nice. And you have a real plug, which again is great for an SUV. And the people in the middle here also have some access to the controls for the heating and ventilation back here as well. And you've got lights. So I think you've got all you would ever need back here. And as I said, there's no screens. You know why? Because you got that HEMI up front. So speaking up front, let's go up front and see everything up there. Okay, back up front, and the snowstorm has died down a bit. Of course, because now I'm on the inside. Anyway, all right, so let's start with the steering wheel. And this steering wheel is SRT worthy. It is really, really chunky, probably a little chunkier than I like it, kind of like a BMW type steering wheel, but it's definitely sporty, perforated. I like that. You've got the paddles on here. Now, the paddles, they feel not too bad, but they're only half paddles. I wish they were full paddles, and I think that's because they have other buttons here on the back of the steering wheel to work things. Let's just see here. We do have telescopic and tilting, and it's power. Ooh, very nice. What else to talk about? Of course, these seats. You've got these SRT bucket seats, and I owned an SRT a long time ago, and they had cool bucket seats, but they were definitely not nice like this. These are perforated. You've got that nice stitching with the SRT. You've got the leather trim on the outside. Being a Dodge, they do accommodate a lot of different body styles, but on the same note, they still are plush, comfortable, and hold you in quite well. Now, they are pretty firm, but again, it's a sporty seat. So a little firmer than maybe some would like for an SUV if you're doing a really, really long trip. But on the same note, all these seats are a sporty feel, but also comfortable. It's a Dodge, right? So anyway, what else to talk about here when we're talking about engagement pieces? We have kind of our manual shifter, but it's a cool manual shifter, or should say automatic shifter, if there is such a thing. And what I mean by that, it does look like the Challenger and some of the muscle cars, the way that it's shaped. Pretty cool. Yeah, visibility is pretty good in here. Again, for an SUV, it should be. You've got really thick pillars and things like that, so, and high belt lines, again, being a Dodge, so you do feel really safe in here, and it's a well-built platform, as we said. Now, when we come over here, we'll actually turn on the vehicle so you can see the infotainment once it turns on in a second. But before we get to that, let's talk about the heating and ventilation. So as you can see, hard buttons. Good for you, Dodge. It's an older vehicle, that's why. But even when they did the refresh, I'm happy that they kept the hard buttons. I personally don't think that they look bad. I don't think that they're going to age that soon. And everything's easy to use. Everything feels pretty good. You've got your volume tuning, your fan speed. And on the SRT here, you've got a lot of nice appointments. You've got heated steering wheel, which is nice. You've got heated and ventilated seats, dual zone air conditioning. And you do have a lot of functionality when it comes to your electronic devices. But as I said, you don't need them because you got this HEMI to entertain you. But if you want to at least plug things in, you've got USB, USB-C, and you have wireless charging. You do have cup holders all over the place in here, including where I have my camera over top, and they do look like they're illuminated. So it leads me to my first interior test, which is real water bottles and real devices for real people. So let's give that a go. Okay, this is our real devices and real water bottles for real people test. So here we go. Let's start off with the water bottle. So as you can see, I got my normal skinny mini water bottle here, but it's a normal size that most people would use. Fits in here really nice. They're rubberized, stop them from sliding around. As I said, looks like it'd be pretty easy to clean. And over here on the door, nice. In case you want to have a coffee over here and a cold beverage over there, really nice. Now, let's look at our devices. So I got my ancient iPhone 10 here, and we're just going to slide it on the wireless charger. 1, 2, 3. All right, that was faster on this attempt. Not bad. 2-3 seconds. That's decent. Pass. All right, so we're back. As you saw, that worked pretty good. So as we wanted to talk about the infotainment on here, Dodge and Jeep do a pretty good job with these nowadays, actually. They're pretty intuitive, pretty user-friendly, very clear and crisp on this newer refresh version, and lots of stuff that you can do. As we said, you do have hard buttons on here, but if you do want to work the you know, the dual zone air conditioning or whatever you can here. And as you can see, it's nice and responsive. You got your heating and cooling seats, things like that. You know, you can come over here and you can do a lot of that stuff here on screen as well. This does have navigation, but again, you could plug in your phone and use that if that's something that you want. Of course, you've got all your other music that's built in if you don't want to use that. I believe it's got Sirius satellite radio, which a lot of cars do, but you're going to have to probably pay for that after a while. But nonetheless, it does give you that option. And the SRT button. So on the SRT button here, you've got your rear view camera, and you can fold the third row, different things. I don't know why that's under SRT. Oh, that says controls. Let's go to the SRT button. There you go. Okay, that makes more sense. So what I've been trying to do is I study up on these vehicles, but when it comes to the feels, I try to come in here like I'm a customer, and it's really my first time. So I'm just like anybody else when I look at this. So you got race options, drive modes, and your performance pages. I think performance pages is really cool, especially on an SRT. Mine was one of the first SRTs, SRT4, which came out alongside the Viper, the SRT10 at the time, which kind of started this whole movement with SRTs. But I didn't have any of this fancy stuff. This is really cool if you do track driving. This is not a true track vehicle. It's very beefy. You got those big brakes, wheels, and all that stuff. And you should be able to have some fun without overheating. But again, this isn't a true race car, but it's nice to have all that stuff there. And you do have an SRT button down here, which is amazing. Love it. And you do have a launch button that hopefully we'll get a chance to try. So all in all, this is really a great vehicle. Lots and lots of space, as we said. Big glove compartment, all kinds of pockets and things like that. It really is a good SUV. It has a lot of appointments on, not a lot of this newer technology, but you got memory seats over here, you got power seats, power everything, you've got the sunroof, and you even have this beautiful digital gauge, which again was part of that refresh. So you know, you do have the analog still on either side, but I like analog gauges myself. And you know, you've got the middle gauge there with the RPMs, which look really sporty, that you can change as well with different information like most cars. You do have basic safety features on here. All in all, it is really a good, decent family hauler, aside from that whole can't get past the gas pump problem because of that big HEMI V8. But all in all, it is a decent vehicle and lots of fun. So let's take it for a drive and see how it feels. All right, let's take this thing for a drive. All right, first I have to say is I had a whole bunch of feels tests planned, but because we're short on time because of the weather and the dealer just called, needs the vehicle back, we're just going to do a normal Doug DeMuro style type drive with a few extra little doodads in it. So first of all, what we want to try here is just kind of our quick turnaround test, just to see how this is, because it's got big, huge wheels on it, all-wheel drive. Let's just see here. Actually, not too bad. Not too bad, all things considered. All right, and let's just say we had to back this thing in. Let's just see how it is to back up. Let's just see here. So we put it in reverse, and we got a bit of a blurry, not the best resolution camera. Dynamic lines, which is nice. And we'll just pull in here, and you've got all your warning and everything else for cross traffic behind you. And yeah, not bad for parking, actually. All right, so let's put this thing in drive. Now, when you're going normally, as we were saying with cylinder deactivation, if you just keep this in normal mode, it's auto, they call it, it's going to do that itself. It's going to figure out when you need to be in 4-cylinder and when you need that HEMI V8. But you can turn it into sport mode, which is going to shut that cylinder deactivation off. And of course, if you put it in SRT track mode, well, say goodnight to your fuel economy. But it's really going to stiffen everything up, increase your throttle response and all those type things. And one thing I have to say on this vehicle is it does seem to have a nice range, actually, because it has these Bilstein dampers, which I think I forgot to mention in the facts portion up front in the suspension. So what that means is it's a performance damper, it's adaptive, so when it's on auto here, it can adjust itself, but when you put it in track or Sport, obviously, it's going to firm up quite a bit, especially in track. But when you are in normal or auto mode like right now, I'm on a back road bumping along here, and it's quite comfortable. It's really, really nice, actually. It's a nice driving vehicle, I have to say that. So when we get up to the stop sign here, we'll give it a little gusto and see what, I wouldn't say 0 to 60, but, an acceleration run feels like. I really wanted to do our traffic light Grand Prix acceleration test of this, especially with the big Brembo. So we'll see what we can do here. But yeah, let's just a second here. We're gonna put this in SRT mode, track, and we won't do a full launch, but let's just turn the corner here. And here we go. Nice, sounds good too. All right, we're gonna hammer on the brakes here. Hold on, everybody. And not bad. We got 10 pistons worth of braking power. Works really good. Now, I have to say, in all seriousness, anytime you get brakes like this in your normal day-to-day driving, it's really smooth and controlled. It's a nice experience. The acceleration on this, as you saw, looks good, sounds amazing. Got that HEMI, but we're in exaggerated track mode. It's not an intimidating vehicle. When we put it back in your normal auto mode here, it also has snow and tow mode, which is nice too. But yeah, if you just put it in normal auto mode, it's yes, obviously it's peppy, but it's really, really nice and easy to drive. So let's get back going here. And also, when we talk about handling, I also wanted to do a handling test on this because, again, this is kind of the claim to fame for this. You're not going to get too many SUVs, especially at this price point, that you're going to get 50-50 weight distribution, especially cross balance as well. Like, this is a really well weighted vehicle. Really, really handles well. We're going to go around this corner pretty good here. Oh, this blue guy's cutting us off. But yeah, no, handles really, really well. Very flat, stable, lots of grip. And with all that power, even when you put it in a track, I can't remember, I think it's up to 70% of the power that goes to the rear. But even with that being so, absolutely, you have tons of traction. Like, this is not a scary vehicle. Now, NVH, let's just go over the train tracks here. And again, we got it in auto mode. And that wasn't bad. That really wasn't bad. That was as nice as any vehicle I've been in realistically for going over train tracks and stuff like that. So here's a big corner. Let's hold on. Here we go. Whoa! Yeah, as you can see, really, really, really controlled, really smooth. The suspension also sits nice and level, so you don't get a lot of, muscle car lift and things like that. It does have the upgraded sound system in here. We don't really get into that too much, but one of the things that we do want to do a sound check on is the horn. Doesn't quite match the HEMI sound, does it? It's not quite as manly as that engine sounds. But the other sound that we want to hear is this engine. Let's give it a let's listen. Oh, that's good. Okay, big corner here, as you see, holds nice and tight, really nice and tight. And as Jay Leno always says, when you got an engine that sounds like that, why would you even want to listen to the radio anyway? Which leads me to my final thoughts. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and check out one of our other related SUV reviews so we can get more cool cars like this one in our upcoming review. Now, we start off this review by looking to compare the facts against the feels for the all-new 392 SRT Durango. And here's the facts and feels that we used to come up with this final thought. Which is, if you are in the market for a mid-size SUV that's a lot of fun and that can tow a lot, you cannot go wrong with the Dodge Durango. As we said, there's nothing really in competition to this that can tow as much as this, have this much fun, and still be this practical on a unibody frame. Yes, we joked around you're not going to be able to pass many gas stations, but you'll be able to pass everyone else. And it is a lot of fun, and you are not sacrificing any of that other practicality that you need in an SUV. So as we said, I don't think that you can go wrong with the 2022 Dodge Durango SRT 392. And if you're actually interested in this one, please see the description for the information, because this is a used 2022, and the dealer, I'm sure, would be happy if you reached out to them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.